What's up, what's up? It's Matt here, bringing you the first set of games that I'm ever going to have recorded on my new PC, and lucky us, it's going to be a set of 11 games that TyRanT BacT, or BacT, however you'd like to pronounce his name, and TyLix played in the previous couple of weeks. And it was a huge array of games that they played. I'm pretty sure it was 11, but then I think they might have actually played more as well. But on AOC Zone, I managed to find 11 of them, which is kind of nice because then we can split it into a sort of affectionately called best of 11 between these two guys here. So we're going to jump into it now with the first game. As I said, we're going to turn Fog of War off, and it is between TyLix and TyRanT BacT. And the first map, as you can see, is Nomad, a very snowy looking Nomad. So right off the bat, it's going to be kind of nice and easy for me to start commentating and casting this one, because we're just gonna wait and see where these guys do decide to put down their town centers, and then from there we're going to start talking about different strategies that they might be going for, and we'll introduce civilizations when that happens as well. I do believe that it is just the regular Nomad. I don't think it's the WCL or anything like that. But it looks like over here on the left-hand side, the western flank of the map, we do have TyLix putting down his town center and finding a couple of sheep right off the bat as well, which is a really nice start for him. So we can have a look at the sort of resources that are immediately around his sort of starting area, and sort of go from there for him. So he's playing in the blue, because I've got team colors on. He's playing as the Koreans, which is the same as what BacT is playing as well, who is putting his town center down here toward the east of the map, but we'll come over to him a bit later. So scouting with the sheep, like I said, he's found his initial 4 sheep. He does have a nice deer patch out here, sort of just a bit south from his base. He does have a nice couple of gold patches here as well, which is really good for him. Obviously, he's put his town center right next to a forest, which is good. And he does have 3 boar out here, which is going to be really really crucial and really easy for him to lure once he does get loom as well. In fact, he could probably grab this one without loom, and maybe even these two with a couple of sheep, with a bit of funky sheep blocking as well. What else have we got? Playing as the Koreans, obviously a fantastic late game civilization. Maybe wanting to go with the elite war wagons, in which case the stone pile out here, sort of on this wee peninsula, is going to be quite important for Lix. He is starting to get some pretty vast scouting coming in now as well. As you can see, he hasn't quite scouted out the gold down here, just south of his main gold pile here, but he will do that, I would imagine, eventually. And he's going to send a villager out here as well, probably to build a dock, because this is Nomad, and getting a little bit of water control can really help boost your food economy as the game progresses. So that's what TyLix's map looks like. Oh, and he does have another gold out here as well. What about BacT? So BacT over here on the eastern flank of the map, playing in the red. He's also playing as the Koreans, so in case I didn't mention it, as a Korean matchup, and he seems to have landed in quite a nice position as well, to be honest with you. He does have a nice 5 deer patch out here toward the northern edge of his map, or of his base, along with 1 boar. One of Lix's villagers coming down here. He's going to find another stone pile here of BacT, but BacT does have a stone pile out here toward the front of his base, a gold pile quite close, and a secondary gold pile here, nice and close for him as well, and a third one sort of more at the back of his base. He's got 2 boar here. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to lure them. He doesn't have to go around the forest. He can just go straight through this little choke point here, so he should be able to grab those 2 boar in nice and comfortably as well, and some more stone piles down here to the south of the map. Both players having put up a dock now as well. BacT putting his dock in quite a nice location. He does have a couple of deep fish here that he can take quite easily and safely, whereas Lix, we can say the same for Lix. Both of these players demonstrating their fantastic game knowledge and game sense, and putting their docks in really nice locations. Neither of them getting out a fishing ship just yet, I don't think. No, because it's a little bit early in the game. So what about looking at the distribution of resources for each player, though? We saw that Lix has 1 of the stones here, and he's got 2 golds there, and he's got another gold out here. And the other 3 golds is 1 there, there's 1 there, and there's 1 there. So it looks like, I would say the gold distribution for BacT is a little bit better, but this is going to be a little bit of laming coming in from Lix here, walling his villager in, cheeky, sneaky beaky, just as BacT was going out to lure that boar in. And now Lix is going to be able to kill this boar and have that meat completely and utterly rot away, thereby laming BacT, but BacT reacting in the best way that he possibly could, and instead sending his villager out there to either build a house, to build a house and also grab some meat off that deer as well. So he's going to be in an okay position there. But looking again at the distribution of resources, so I would say BacT probably has the better distribution of resources. Um, Looks even grabbing a little bit of the meat and running back to his town center, getting all the efficiency, squeezing all the efficiency he can out of his villages, which is fantastic to see. But like I said, the gold distribution for I would say is a little bit better for BacT, just because most of his golds are pretty much on the back of his base, whereas over here for Lix, they're sort of, reaching out and branching out toward the front of his base, which is not the nicest if you can get away with having that. The stone, again, very, very important for the Koreans, so we can see that there is a stone here, and a stone here, which is, relatively close to BacT, I guess. And the other stone piles, where's the other stone piles? There's one here, there was one up here, and where is the final stone pile? I can't seem to find the final stone pile, but it looks like, again, the distribution of resources seems to have landed a little bit closer to the position in which BacT has decided to put down his town center, so he should be in an okay spot there. And this villager from Lix is still buzzing around, so are we going to be seeing any more laming? I thought he might have gone ahead and done a little bit more laming here, walling in the stone from BacT. He doesn't know where BacT's town center is as well, sending a fishing ship around. I imagine that's just to do a little bit of scouting with this guy here, just so he knows where BacT has put his dock up, if he has decided to go ahead and put a dock up anyway, which means that Lix is going to know where he should start heading, and he's actually going to start walling BacT in, or maybe walling BacT out, depending on which way you really want to look at this. He is sort of negating one of these golds with this wall off, but I guess in the long run, if you want to keep yourself nice and safe, then go ahead and wall off a gold, because if it if it saves you the game, and in terms of being nice and safe from your opponent, then why not go ahead and do it? I mean, Lix still does have 2 golds here, so he's going to be okay for quite a while into this game. But it has, like I said, sort of foregone map control a little bit and almost gifted this gold to BacT. Lix has now found where BacT's fishing ships are as well. So if Lix does decide to go and do a little bit of feudal aggression, he's going to know exactly where to head to start striking a blow into the food economy of BacT. But at the moment, BacT is chugging along quite nicely. He does have a nice close berry patch here as well to supplement his food income, albeit very, very slowly. So again, there's not too much to say in Nomad games. Generally, it's either going to be a trush or some sort of, deadly feudal aggression like that, or both players are just going to fast castle and then start either trying to boom or put aggression on in the castle age. Normally, we could also see a grush, but it looks like the grush distance here is going to be pretty big. I mean, Lix knows that the docks from both of these players are pretty much on the polar opposite ends of the map, so grushing maybe not the most viable strategy, just owing to the huge distance that the galleys would have to go around there. But in saying that, BacT advancing to the feudal age now does have this villager buzzing around out here to the southern sort of flank of the map. Maybe he's waiting for enough wood to chuck up another dock and sort of surprise Lix and get a little bit of a grush going, but we'll have to wait and see with what he's actually doing with this female villager. Lix also clicking up to the castle age now. BacT actually going up on an extra villager and feudal age, sorry. BacT clicking up sooner and going up with an extra villager, showing that he's probably had he's definitely had a bit more of a a bit more of an efficient Dark Age, and moving a crap ton of his villagers over onto wood, and another one over, and a couple over onto gold, building another dock down here to the south of the map. Now going to be spotted by Lix as well, who's still got his fishing ship scout and buzzing around, so Lix is going to know, okay, there's another place here that I can start attacking. Maybe a grush is going to be a more viable option than it was initially. And Lix, like-minded to BacT, sending another villager out here on a little bit of an expedition. Maybe going to be building another dock, and there's another dock coming down here toward the south of the map as well. BacT is aware to it, and is BacT going to try and wall this villager in? Yes, he's going to try and wall the villager in. Why not? I mean, this villager is not going to be able to do much anymore, although I suppose he can get a transport ship out of this guy here, this dock, and also transport himself around in a way. But no, this villager up here toward the north of BacT's base is just going to continue this wall off, and now we pretty much have the Great Wall of China in Palisade walls coming up here, and splitting these two players into 2 separate locations on the map. So BacT into the feudal age, docks, 3rd dock coming up, and galleys coming out. And where are the galleys going to be heading straight for? They're going to be for some reason heading down here. I don't know why, because there's no fishing ships there for Lix, but I suppose BacT is aware of the fact that there are 2 docks coming up here from Lix as well, so it looks like it's not going to be a fast castle, it's not going to be a trush, it's going to be the age-old grush. Although we do still have this cheeky villager from Lix buzzing around here inside the walls that he's constructed on BacT's base, and what have we got going on down here? BacT going to pick off this villager quick smart. No more docks coming up for you, Mr. Lix, at least not down here. I don't think he could actually fit any docks up here anyway, but he's going to get a nice villager pick. There is BacT, and BacT is going to further cement this villager lead that he has now, so that'll be going up to a 3 villager lead, which is quite substantial in the early stages of this game. A blacksmith also coming up for BacT, so he's going to be going ahead and grabbing fletching as soon as possible. His eco is ticking along quite nicely, and he will be able to research fletching as soon as he gets that blacksmith up. More galleys popping out for BacT. Remember, he is up with 3 docks. He's got 1 up here, and he's got 2 docks down here as well, I believe. Where was his 3rd dock? Or is he only on 2 docks? No, he's on 3. Where the heck is his 3rd dock? Ah, there it is, yeah. So the travel distance here for for BacT, considering he is outnumbering Lix in terms of docks, is obviously short enough that he is going to be able to control that and keep solidifying his firm position that he has, his firm hold over the water dominance that he has at the moment. Now, where was that villager from Lix? That villager from Lix just chucking up outposts just so he can, I guess, get a bit of vision on what BacT's doing. But at the moment, it's pretty clear that BacT is just going for a grush. There are a couple of galleys queued up inside this dock here from Lix, and also sending a few galleys back around to his fish to try and protect them from any galleys that are now coming in from BacT. As we saw before, BacT sending a couple of galleys out there around to the fishing economy of Lix here. But Lix with this sneaky beaky villager building an archery range inside the economy, inside the base here of BacT. So it will be interesting to see how much damage this archery range, and I can only assume another subsequent archery range to follow this guy here, will come up, and see how much damage that Lix can do inside the economy of BacT here. It's also going to be great to see if BacT does scout this out, because at the moment he doesn't have any sort of BacT has no idea that this is here. He might be able to see it based on the fact that there's a building foundation having been laid down here in the snow, but this villager's buzzing around here. Maybe he's going to spot out the fact. If he moves just a little bit further south, he's going to find that quite easily, and it looks like the water dominance is quite firmly in favor of BacT as well, so we don't have to pay as much attention to the water dominance at the moment. Harassment coming in from left, right, and center from BacT on Lix on the water. And Lix now is going to divert his attention more to the land. BacT still has not scouted out this archery range here, which means he's going to be caught completely unawares by what Lix is planning on doing here. Again, more galley fights coming up here in the north of the map. All BacT has to do is just move this villager just a little bit further south. He might even know, because you can see that the building foundations here or being laid down in the snow. Fletching coming in now for Lix as well. Going to provide a little bit more of an attacking presence for these archers. Or are they just... No, they'll be archers. Archers that are being queued up inside these archery ranges here for side Lix. This villager's still buzzing around, and he could be... If Lix manages to keep this villager alive inside of BacT's base, which it looks like he's going to be able to do quite comfortably if he gets to the castle age, then he's going to be able to... Oh no, BacT, don't run away. No, okay, well, he must know that something is going on now. I don't think... BacT still hasn't... Oh, no, he's scouted it now. Or has he? I'm not sure, because sometimes the fog of war is different when we spectate compared to what the players can actually see when they're in the game. But Lix picking up a nice villager pick there, 35 villagers to 32. Neither player looking like they're too close, no way near clicking up to the castle age. BacT trying to get a little bit of a house wall in here to keep the archers inside this area of his base, but he's losing a villager in the process. Quick thinking though, walling off the backside of his economy here, kind of just keeping his archers, or keeping the archers from Lix in one area, right in the area that he knows. So he knows where they are. He knows they're not going to be coming around the back of his base here, so he should be in a good position. But we can see that again, still on the water, it's the same old story, with BacT asserting complete and utter dominance over Lix there, and BacT now also getting up an archery range, going to get out a few defensive skirmishes, and he should be in a good position to be able to push this back. And this is the great thing about having water control as well, right? Because he can just fish to his heart's content, and he doesn't have to worry about having any food income to create villages to get more food income. He just has to have wood to be able to create the fishing ships to get the fishing, to be able to fish and get his food income that way. And this is a bit unfortunate for Lix, having to delete an archery range to get this one archer out. That is really costly. 175 wood, a little bit unfortunate for Lix there, ungarrisoning his villager on his archer even on the wrong side of his archery range there, and costing him 175 wood. The docks from Lix down here to the south of the map completely cleaned up, and it doesn't look like he is going to be, at least at this stage, it doesn't look like he's going to try and make any more of a stand on the water. But he's doing a nice job. He's doing a nice job just wandering around inside of BacT's economy and picking up a villager here, picking up a villager there, and now putting down a watchtower here. But BacT, already aware to it, putting up a watchtower inside, or just on his woodline here, as both of the players click up to the castle age, 39 villages to 37. But it's the fishing ships that we have to really pay attention to here. There's no fishing ships out for Lix, while BacT has complete and utter dominance over the water. He's going to be able to fish to his heart's content, and his food eco is going to be so much stronger than Lix's the longer that he does manage to keep this fishing income going. You can see all of this fish out here completely uncontested for BacT, so his food eco is going to be in a really nice position. And he can continually add fishing ships as well to continually solidify his advantage on the water, and in terms of the food economy that the fishing ships are going to provide. This villager is still buzzing around, and it's a nice decision from Lix here as well to be able to get up, or to go ahead and grab a stable. Because obviously BacT has transitioned into skirmishes to be able to deal with these archers, and knights in the castle age are going to be really effective at taking down measly feudal age skirmishes. Even elite skirmishes not really going to be able to provide too much of a kick to any knights that will be coming out from Lix. But at least BacT is aware to it now. He knows what Lix is going to be going ahead and doing in the castle age. He's going to be trying to do knights into his economy, so he's going to be able to set his economy up accordingly. He's got quite a few villagers out here on stone utilizing the Korean bonus. Maybe he's just going to tower the crap out of his base, or maybe he's going to be looking to get a castle up, or a couple of extra TCs. Obviously he has put a couple of watchtowers up here, so he didn't need to mine stone anyway to be able to put up extra town centers. But we can see a second stable coming up here for Lix, which pretty much screams to us, yep, I'm going to be going knights in the castle age. And I mean, BacT already knows this, right? BacT knows that Lix is going to be going knights in the castle age because he has seen at least one of these stables here. Both players up into the castle age now. Let's see what's going on. Putting up a siege workshop straight away, which is not really going to fare too well against the knights that are going to be coming out from Lix. Bowsaw coming in for BacT, very important upgrade. It doesn't look like he's going to be prioritizing any of the water upgrades or any of the navy upgrades, because there's no point battling over the water at the moment, purely because he's already got it, so he doesn't really have to worry about it too much. Siege workshop coming up inside the base, inside BacT's base here as well, so this preemptive siege workshop with a mangonel already popping out from BacT was a really good decision. Looking back on it now, putting up a town centre out toward the back of his base as well. Whereas, what have we got going on for Lix? Has he put up an extra town centre yet? Let's quickly switch over to his point of view. Well, no, he hasn't, because he doesn't actually have the stone for it. So that's going to be a little bit unfortunate for him. And at the moment, I would say that the advantage is quite firmly in favour of BacT at the moment, just because of this fishing eco and the fact he does have an extra 4 villages as well. And nice quick walls coming up with a defensive castle being placed inside of his base. For BacT, and those knights are not getting in. Straight away, those knights are completely and utterly useless, and a battering ram is coming out for Lix. Obviously, he was looking to try and put a lot of smackdown into the economy of BacT, but a mangonel firing behind the ram means that this ram's going to go down quick smart, and the fact that the villagers are completely and utterly safe, at least on this front of BacT's base, means this castle's going to go up pretty easily, and this pretty much this whole forward base here from Lix is going to be wiped out pretty quick smart. So really, really nice play there from BacT. Really, really well read, putting a defensive castle up inside of his base and grabbing himself the hill bonus to boot. The knights from Lix here, do they have any upgrades? They've got +1 defense done on them, so they will be able to withstand a little bit of arrow fire from these towers in the castle, but they're not going to be able to get into the base of of BacT and do any real damage. So almost a wasted investment, I guess you could say, in terms of Lix. But Lix is putting up another watchtower, or it's a guard tower now. My mistake. Of course, the Koreans grabbing their free tower upgrades, and these knights are not really going to be able to do anything at all. Whilst more rams, no, just a mangonel, another mangonel coming out here from Lix from his siege workshop. Not going to be able to do anything because as soon as it pops out, it's going to be fired upon by this castle. Ooh, war wagons coming up for for BacT here as well. So he should be in a good position to be able to defend his economy with a little bit more than just a castle. Fireship coming out here for Lix as well. Maybe looking now to try and start taking back the water, or maybe he just wants to get a fireship out there just to try and draw BacT's attention away from what could be happening inside of his land economy. But either way, Lick's moving villages over to stone now. Maybe he's looking to get up a castle, and a castle like right here would be a fantastic position. Try and zone BacT off some of the stone, because as you remember us saying at the beginning of the game, the other stones are down here, which can be taken out quite comfortably by the knights coming out from the stables of Lix here. But Lix, recognizing the situation, he's too far behind and he's calling GG. Oh man. So, first game, done and dusted, a Nomad, Korean Nomad mirror matchup between BacT and Lix. Lix just too far behind. Completely and utterly too far behind. 7 villages behind. BacT already putting up 3 town centers. We could see the third one coming up here. And Lix, I don't think, even had a second town center coming up. He was investing everything into this forward, and when it was really, really well defended from BacT, it set Lix back quite a bit. He was going to have to do a heck of a lot of damage in a really, really short amount of time to be able to pull back that sort of deficit that he had in this game. And in the end, he couldn't do it. So really, really well played from BacT. And we'll jump out of this game and we'll go into game 2. So I'll stop the recording now and I'll see you guys in the next one.